chapter 116 of Kagurabachi, and it was not what I expected. With each chapter in part 2, we slowly get to learn what transpired before the war, each with its own focus, and this chapter might be the most crucial, showing us the dynamic between sorcerer families and the government, how they functioned before the war, introduction of characters, some old, some new, and finally, our boy Kunishige got to eat. And also Chiaki, we can't forget Chiaki, you know? We start the chapter with the introduction of Chiaki, and I didn't expect to see her this soon, but I'm all here for it. First of all, she looks really cool with this formal wear she's got on. It extrudes the feeling of royalty pretty well, might I say. Especially when you compare her to Kunishige, who's just like a stark contrast to her, which makes you wonder how they got to know each other. And that's because, due to her being in a lesser branch family, I'm assuming they weren't too strict in letting her mess around with random kids at the time. But after her prophecy abilities awakened and she was crowned Princess Soga, it was different. Once every generation, a female Soga clan member awakens the gift of prophecy, which allows them to see visions of the future in their dreams, mainly pertaining to Japan's future, at least so far, as they've explained. And when that happens, an event takes place, the prophecy rite, where the gather, where they where they gather major sorcerer families in Japan to reveal the contents of the dream. One of the families being the Sazanami. For some reason, we also learn the Sorcerer Bureau lets them do whatever. Granted, they keep it low key and don't harm civilians. And what I'm asking is, aren't like the Sazanami family literally trafficking humans and shit? Like, I feel like that's harming civilians, right? But hey, whatever, right? Which makes me wonder if other clans were as awful and just left to do the shitty practices, you know? Because like there was like a lot of them, and they didn't really specify who was like the only family that sucks there, right? Anyways, because of the prophecies, they were able to avoid crises and other calamities, which is why they are held in such high regard. Which makes me wonder why we haven't heard anything about them in part 1, like not even a name drop. Other than Akemura, same goes for Chiaki, you know, like the princess that is hailed as the incarnation of a god, you know what I mean? Feels pretty weird. My theory is that after the war, the clan was dissolved into the Kamunabi, and thus their name slowly faded away. And even then, I don't really think that is what happened. Yeah, anyways, we then get the prophecy that Chiaki had, and it states that 8 days, several of the Shikoku Islanders will show up in peace, and then a ship bearing the royal family will follow. I really like the setting Hokuzono chose here. It exudes the feeling of importance so much. From the formal and or ritualistic wear they have on, to the room being almost empty, feeling as if only the most respected shall enter. And it's something Hokuzono really excels at in his background, right? And that same idea carries on to the next scene with Chiaki and her mother traversing the hallways of the estate, where you get painted doors with textured casting, trees and vegetation scattered across to add extra life to the estate. All being the stuff I find appealing about these scenes and scenery. Okay, backgrounds in Kagurabachi are always given extreme care and attention to detail, and it's safe to say that this is no different. Here, we learn that Chiaki gained her abilities shortly after the previous princess died, and ever since, she and Akemuro have achieved illustrious height. And the person who's telling us is like tweaking out like crazy for some reason. I know what's going on there. Anyways, we also get to see Chiaki playing with Kunishige, Shiba, and Azami, which is like so wholesome, seeing them just enjoying life, considering what will happen in the future, you know what I mean? The same goes for who we see next, Soga, who's like still skilled with the blade, obviously, but we figure out that he wants to get stronger to protect his sister. You can just see the light spark in his eyes when he sees her. And bro, him like pouting when he's told not to train, then after she leaves, he's like, one more match, please. He's like, so cool. And the faces, bro, look at the face. I like how Chiaki almost does the same face later on. I would say almost, it's literally the same. It's like, you know, like, I don't know. Okay. Also, it's here where we got told that Soga, I mean Akemura, there's like, I guess multiple of them right now. Yeah, Akemura would already be a commander of the Soga clan, if it wasn't for the fact that he's 16 and like, okay, he's strong, I guess, right? Yeah. We also get the introduction of a new character who looks kind of cool. We didn't really get a name, I think, so it sucks. Yeah. We then cut to Chiaki and her mother doing her hair. What I find interesting is this, which might explain why Akimura wants to protect Chiaki so badly, even if it means harming himself. It might be that he wants to get to a position where maybe he could set her free from the controlling nature of the family. Considering it's not really the most healthy environment, her not being allowed to see her friends because of their stature might not be the only thing. They might be restricting the places she goes, the clothes she wears, you know what I mean? Shit like that. It may extend way farther than we think. Maybe that's also why her prophecies come to her in a fragment, because it is stated multiple times that your psyche is heavily tied to your sorcery, or shown, I don't remember. So maybe there's like a bit of something that's going on there. I hope goes on, leans towards that. It's really cool. Okay, we then cut to Shiba being, the wingman goat, right? While not feeding our guy, he's still serving, right? He's like trying to sweet talk Kunishige into talking to Chiaki again, and the Shiba just looks like freaking deviant here. I don't know why Kazona draws him like that. Bro is too invested in this whole romance thing, not gonna lie. Also, even though Kunishige here says it's for the best not to meet her, you can just tell he's like itching to see her, and that's really cool. Romance in Kagurabachi is not something that I would have expected, like, at all. But hey, I'm all here for it, especially when it's Chiaki, because she's the goat. She's so cool. I'll talk about her in the end, because right before Konishige dies of hunger, Subaru pulls up with some Subaru special rice balls. Goat guy doing goat stuff. So I love to see it. And after that, we end the chapter with the prophecy coming to fruition, with the Shukoku Islanders arriving, requesting a meeting at Shirishima, where they'll talk about the rights to mine that Tenseki. And there's a bunch of interesting details here that I noticed. One is we get an actual idea of what Chiaki meant by really hard to read, right? Or how the fragmented parts kind of come into, because like she only said they show up in peace. She didn't really know all this was gonna transpire, right? And two, right, is the pine tree, right? On my first read, I didn't really figure it out, but like maybe that has something to do with Hatshaku. We might see him next chapter. I don't know. I didn't really notice it in the first chapter, so like, you know what I mean? But yeah, if he is there, I am super excited, because like Hatshaku is like top 5 mysteries in Kagurabachi. You know what I mean? Because like we have literally nothing on him, like no detail on him other than the little conversation that he has with like the other characters. We don't even know his name, right? So yeah, and I'm really hyped for the next chapter, right? Especially after seeing the setting of the meetup. It's like it's really cool, right? I like it. Just exudes, I don't know, it's so cool, bro. I can see people referencing that scene in like literature in the future, bro. Like when movies are done, they do something similar, because it's so cool. Like look at the contrast with like the chair and the desk and the table, and then the pine tree there. Bro, Kazono cook. Okay, next chapter is already shaping up to be one of the most important in the entire series, and I genuinely can't wait. If you liked the video, consider liking, commenting, subbing, all that stuff. So yeah, mainly commenting up front, because it's communicating with people. So yeah, and that's the end of the video. But okay, that's the end of the video. Ninja Kagurabachi. This is just me yapping now from now on. Okay, what did I? So like, I'm gonna be doing this thing where I just talk about my week and what I enjoyed right that week. So number 1, Jujutsu Kaisen episode 12. That was peak. Oh my god, that was so cool. Oh my god, seeing the animation in Jujutsu Kaisen has been epic. I'm not gonna go on a freaking rant here because I'm gonna keep it short, but like Jujutsu Kaisen has been really epic. Plus, what other thing did I like? Chiaki in this chapter is really cool. I really like her. She's so cool, bro. Cool is the only word that I'm using. Because I don't really have a wide vocabulary, right? The last thing is I've been watching this YouTuber named Hedgehog Nonsense, to be exact. Like Oh my god, and her videos are so cool, man. They're so fun. I especially like the fight on Logano one. I just finished it like recently, and oh my god, I'm just fiending for more. Can't wait for her like do part two. Right. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna be doing that at the end of the video just to kind of I don't know, not just talk about Kagurabachi. So yeah, as the video. Alright, catch you next time.